Hi there everyone on YouTube. I wanted to put up a new video of my nice Guru snare. I've put a new head on it recently. I've switched to a Genera dry, obviously Evans. I love Evans heads. They just work for me better than any other brand. I usually use the STdry snare head, which is a 2-ply batter. I think it's 7.5 mils. You can probably correct me on that, I can't remember exactly. With the holes around the edge to dry it up a bit. I wanted a 1-ply version just for a bit of increased sensitivity, if nothing else. And they don't really do a 1-ply, I don't think, of the STdry with just the holes around the edge. They do a 1-ply of the HDdry, which is with the holes and the perimeter flap underneath, similar to like a Power Stroke 3, which is called the Genera dry, which is what I've got on here. I put it on yesterday and it was too dead for me, although I like the sensitivity from the 1-ply. So what I did is I took out the perimeter flap, and to do that all I did is I scored a knife around the inside of the collar, or underneath the head. And it's worked really well. I just thought I'd put up the results because it really is nice. This room isn't a great room to show how nice this snare actually is, but hopefully the mics on my camera will pick it up well. So I've got 2 pairs of sticks here to show it with, just in case you use different sticks for concert band application. I've got some bigger sticks, some Ralph Hardemans, and for normal kit stuff I've got some Steve Jordans. So some thin sticks with small tips on, and some thicker sticks with big tips, both wood tips anyway. So here we go, it's my Guru 13x7 stave shell. It's Bubinga and Purple Heart, and in between each stave there's a maple inlay. If you haven't seen my snare already, it's 1/2 inch thick. It's got 45-degree bearing edges, but they're slightly rounded. I'll explain how I tuned the drum after I've played it. The skin isn't completely played in yet, so there might be a few weird overtones, but it should be okay. So here we go anyway. I hope that gave you a little idea of what the snare's about and what this head really offers. Really good sensitivity even at the edges. I have got the snares quite tight on this. It's because it's a deep drum, and if you don't have the snares particularly tight, it can lose a bit of the definition in the snares, especially when you hit it louder in the centre. But this head really takes out any of the worry with the snares. You can have them pretty tight and you still get the sensitivity at the edge having the 1-ply. So I really recommend this Genera dry head, but take out the perimeter flap, because otherwise, unless you say you're doing some studio work or you really want that kind of 60s dead sound where you normally put like a tea towel on, tune it down a bit and keep the Genera dry. It's better than the HDdry. I think the HDdry is way too heavy, unless you're a real hard hitter. But if you're a real hard hitter with a HDdry, especially if you're rim shotting, the sound just goes. It's just like you're hitting wood. So this Genera dry is really working for me. It's a 1-ply. I really don't know how thick it is. I guess it's a 7 mil. It could be a 10 mil. I really don't know. I'll have to check on the Evans website for that. But yeah, the Genera dry, take the perimeter flap out. A few more things about this head. I've got on the bottom a Hazy 300. How I tune this drum, if you are interested at all, is really pretty tight on the bottom with a minimal give. I don't crank it so it's completely choked. I make sure each tension rod's at the same pitch, but it is pretty tight at the bottom, and that kind of gives the snare a bit more dryness, a bit more control, and it makes the snare heads, it makes the snare wires, it allows for better contact and easier kind of more sensitivity. What I've got here are the Puresound Twisted snare wires. If you haven't checked them out, please do. They're really good. It's 20 strand, but there's actually 40 snare strands in there. They're double twisted, like a double helix. And obviously on the top, the head isn't completely played in yet, like I said, but it's a Genera dry 1-ply with the perimeter flap taken out. How I tune this is the same tension on every lug. I think I might tune it down a little bit more to get a bit more fatness out of it. In this room, it sounds different to what it does in any other room, though. It's quite a bassy room. This, it absorbs all the highs of the snare, so it does sound a bit thicker than it normally should. But I tune it just so the head sounds good. I mean, I crank it up to stretch it out a bit, then tune it down a quarter step each lug. Keep tuning it down an 1/8 step after that to see whether it sounds good, and I think it sounds good here. So I hope that helped a little bit. Check out the Evans Genera Dry, the Hazy 300. Puresound snare wires, and obviously Guru drums if you haven't already. gurudrumworks.co.uk.